and welcome back to the club, Utah Hockey Podcast. My name is Tim,
And I'm Cooper.
and we're going to have a little bit of a different episode for everybody today. We're going to kind of keep it a little more loose and just kind of chit-chat this week about all the interesting things that's kind of happened with Utah and the NHL.
Yeah, we're going to just try to experiment here and see how it goes for us. Keep it smooth moving.
Yeah, we figure the game-by-game recap may be a little less interesting to everybody, as you guys are probably also following along, watching all the games with us. So we'll figure we'll do a little more to fun stuff and just kind of shoot the shit a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just talking about the teams. What teams are exciting, what teams are struggling. Or even just this highlight was awesome. We're going to share stuff like that with you guys. So hopefully that'll be something more exciting and a little bit more what's the word? Just not so I don't know. Help me, Tim.
Structured.
Yeah, it's not so structured. More loose, like Tim said earlier. Yeah.
Not so predictable. Yeah. Yeah, so we're probably going to be focusing a little bit more on the overall NHL this episode. So I hope that's something everybody enjoys. We're gonna kind of hop right into that. Maybe touch a little bit less on Utah this week than we've had in the past couple episodes, but we'll still talk about them quite a bit because it was a roller coaster of a couple weeks with them. But let's hop into some stuff from the NHL. What was one of the main things you wanted to talk about or saw happen these last 2 weeks, Cooper?
Yeah, there was a great highlight from. Well, let's do a highlight and then we can look at some standings maybe. But there was a great highlight from Sidney Crosby that I'd like to look at. We can pull that one up. It was in the game against the Anaheim Ducks over this last week. I think it was on Halloween. I think it was a Halloween night game. Yeah. But yeah, we'll go ahead and check that out. He just made a really nice play, stole the puck, made a nice move on the goalie, and I just think it's a really nice goal, and I'd like to see that. And this is coming from a guy who's a Ducks fan, so I still really appreciated the goal from Crosby against my own team.
Do you remember where in the game it happened?
It's go about like halfway through the video, maybe.
Yeah, I see. Okay, 2:30. All right, let's swap over to that.
Yeah, it's coming up here. We'll play it from here. Yeah.
Here we are, everybody. We're figuring it out.
Yes, this one's about midway through overtime.
Yeah.
Take a shot. Ducks are getting it out, supposedly. Crosby picks up the garbage. Takes the goalie out of his jock. Gives him like 4 stick handles.
Yeah, I don't know how people do that, dude. Like, stop right in front of the goalie and just go.
Yeah, that's some Mighty Ducks shit right there.
I don't think that's the first time we've seen that happen in OT, too. I feel like Utah did this to someone recently, too, where just a nice back check in the offensive zone for the one guy trying to get it out, and they just lose it and get a nice, 1-0 or 2-0 on the goalie.
Yeah, that happens a lot in overtime, especially with the 3-on-3 format that they do these days. Like, it's so wide open that all it takes is one, fuck up, and then the puck's going the other way. Like, it's so quick, the way the puck can just go in a different direction. Next thing you know, it's in the back of your net.
Yeah,
it's wild. And just watching Sidney Crosby do that, it's just so classic Crosby. He always comes in clutch. He's Sid the Kid for a reason. He's been in the league for 18 years for a reason.
Ooh, and he just missed it there, too. Ouch.
Yeah. Just had to get it out. Just get it out. Don't carry it out at that point.
Oh, he missed it, though. He originally tried to grab it. He totally missed. Watch.
Yeah.
He's going to go to grab it.
He just
missed.
Yeah.
That's
so I guess,
as a defenseman,
Cutter Gauthier, the Ducks,
that's fucking, your heart drops when that happens.
Yeah, and that guy right there, he's a rookie too, so maybe we could chalk it up to like, oh well, he's still getting used to the speed of the league and all that. He just played college last year, so. But either way, it's Sidney Crosby. Sidney Crosby is going to do this all the time.
He knew he could get to it.
Yeah.
He knew the dust
Goalie almost
I don't
had
know
it,
too many
though.
people. Yeah, goalie was there, like he was trying.
Yeah, he kind of read it.
Yeah, classic Crosby. Can't hate it. I don't know too many people that outright just don't like Sidney Crosby. I think it's pretty rare.
Yeah, I think I at some point during our high school just acted like I hated him because we had so many Penguins fans on the team.
Yeah.
Crosby was too many people's favorite player.
Yeah.
So I had to do something to give people some shit.
No, yeah, always a fan favorite. I don't know. Did you have I think you had a highlight that you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, I was just watching, I think it was last night, the Avalanche play the Predators, which, thank God, the Predators finally won, and we did it against the Avalanche, even though the Avs aren't doing too well this season right so far. They're still a solid team, and I expect them to fully turn their shit around. And
Both teams are improving, right?
yes, Nashville has won a couple instead of continuing their loss streak. I think they ended it at 5, thank God. I doubt we'll have another 15 win streak this season, but we'll find out. Maybe March or so, and everybody will get their heads out of their butts and figure out how to play together. But yeah, I was just watching that game last night, and the one and only goal, I believe, or maybe it's the second goal from them, I can't recall, just scored by McKinnon? McKinnon. Behind the net, just crazy angle. Let me go ahead and switch our screens here so we can all pull this up. But yeah, we're in the third period, empty net. Avalanche is trying to tie it up 3-1. And we can see McKinnon's down here behind the net on kind of the left side of the screen. And just get
Rantanen, he's the shooter. Makar around for Taves. And what a goal! McKinnon again.
Just an insane backhand over the shoulder from the goal line. Like,
yeah.
I've
never the math on that, right? Like, what is that? Like a 1% chance of scoring that?
Yeah, just the angle is just insane. Like, you have no to not only like put it there. Like, look at this, right? Literally is on the goal line. The angle to get that to go into the net is like so small that like there's like you're saying, like probably less than a 1% chance that goes in.
Right.
To score that.
And that's going to be one of those ones. I don't know what they said on the broadcast, but it's probably one of those ones where they're the old cliche of like, the goalie's going to want that one back, like.
Yeah.
That goalie, Saros had to be kicking himself after that, but at least his team had a lead. But
yeah, they still ended up pulling it away. They kept the goalie pulled, and Nash ended up getting 2 more empty netters, so it ended up like 5-2. But just to watch this, and then just unlucky on Saros, hits him off the head or the shoulder, and just goes right in.
You got Nathan McKinnon.
Just crazy though. I just couldn't believe that. Just like how just throws it there. Just crazy backhand.
He is on the goal line. He finds an angle right here.
Not even
never
looking.
Know if you never try. Yeah.
Not even looking, it goes in. Absolutely.
It also makes you wonder. It makes you wonder, like, just these players at this level, how much they're just like practicing shit like that in like practice anyway, or how much they practice that like when they're just like doing their own skates like on their own during the summer or whatever. Like, we see these things, and you know, who knows? Maybe McKinnon's like tried that like hundreds of times in practice, and it worked the one time. It's just wild to me to think of what these guys practice and what they do know how to do, and then when they do it in a game, was that something they've been trying to do, or is that something that they just tried at that moment? Yeah, well.
Yeah, they definitely know which angles they have and don't have more than most people, that's for sure. But to say that they're practicing something like that, I would hope they're spending their time practicing something a little more useful.
Practicing actual
know,
plays and stuff. Yeah.
yeah, or maybe, at least working out or something. Something that's gonna
Hmm.
translate a little more to than just the crazy 1% backhand no look shot to the top corner.
Hmm.
But but yeah, just nuts. Um
Hmm. Um, there's one more highlight from the league that I want to see.
yeah.
I think it's Buffalo and Detroit, and that was
Uh
like just last night, I believe,
yeah, let's pull this one up.
Saturday. Let's see.
Did you give me a timestamp here? I don't think you did.
That one you can just start the video because it's pretty quick. It's like a 30-second video, I think.
Just outside the line, comfort for Ray.
All right, let me get this all pulled up.
Oh, and just quick thing. I don't know. I just want to make sure for technical reasons. There's no sound coming from the videos, but on your end, are you capturing the sound?
Mhm.
Okay. I just want to make sure so
Yeah,
it's not a thing where we get to the end and you're editing and you're like, there's no sound on the video.
here you go. I'll share the audio with you. It's
All
just
right,
a
cool.
Discord thing. I guess
I
I
just
have
want to
to
make sure before we got too
explicitly
far.
check it.
Yeah.
Nah, yeah, you're good. I can hear the audio, so
Yeah.
hopefully the
Okay,
stream
cool.
can. Yeah,
Just save you the
walk
headache
us through
later.
this as I hit play here, or do we just want to watch it and talk about it after?
I mean, we can watch it and let it play out because the actual thing that I'm talking about happens, maybe 15 seconds from now. We'll just play it out.
All right, cool. Here we go.
Just
It's not too long, yeah.
Comfort for Raymond as they come right back in. Raymond stopped and then Luukkonen with a save. Rebound in front.
It's kind of crazy, yeah.
What?
And we're going to have to watch it again, like in slow-mo when they show it because you see what happens and it's just wild.
Yeah, I mean, I think I caught it, but damn, what the?
It happens very fast, though, for sure. Like, that play happens in, like a second?
Yeah, that was very fast.
Here we go. We're going to see it slow-mo. Both these teams, by the way, kind of struggling. They're both hoping to be back in the playoffs soon. Buffalo's been struggling, but here we go. Here's Alex Tuck here. Blocks one, blocks two, blocks a third of his glove because his goalie's like, swimming. I don't know why his goalie's way out there, but
yeah, I've noticed that too. Some goalies just be way out of the crease, dude, and I'm like, you know that if you just like stayed closer to the net, they wouldn't be able to score that opportunity, right?
right.
Like,
Yeah. But
I
yeah.
get it. Like sometimes, because I remember doing that in soccer too. Like the goalie would come out to try and like make the angle less.
And
But
you can
like,
like chip it over or whatever.
but now but I mean, yeah, the net's so big in soccer that just like it's insane.
Yeah.
Like you're not gonna cover that whole thing, but in hockey, like just fucking stand there. You're covering 90% of the net, man. Like,
Yeah.
you don't
Just
have
stay
to
where you are.
move. Yeah, you don't have to
Yeah.
move outside the blue,
hmm
to like cover most of the net and to take away those
Yeah.
angles. And
Yeah.
I've
But,
just seen some goalies in some insane spots. I'm like, why are you way over there? Like,
right. And
maybe
then
they
the
can't
funny
see.
thing
I
too
don't know.
is you'll see those highlights that praise like this goalie got back and like stopped a shot that should have gone in because they were out of position to begin with, like yeah, he made the stop, but he shouldn't have had to make it. Like,
Yeah.
that was manufactured, my boy. Like, I don't know. But yeah, it's funny. But yeah, I
like
thought
most of
that
the
play
time,
was cool.
most of the time I see that though, it's like a dump in and then it just like bounces weird, and so they're like trying to catch it behind the net and it never goes behind the net. I see that happen
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah. Well, we saw Connor Ingram on Utah. He had one of those early in the season where it
got
bounced
lucky.
around funny and he like stuck his stick out and stopped it. And then there was another one that did go in that same way and he didn't stop that one. So I mean,
Yeah, that other one that just bounced straight into the net. Yeah, that was crazy.
And that one he was in the net, so I don't know what's going on there. But yeah, I just thought that was really cool the way that Alex Tuck on Buffalo, the way he just took that spot and he made the blocks he had to make and gave his team a chance to fight another day.
The lucky like shin pad save, and then I guess
Shin pad,
like his
the arm,
hip or
and then the
arm or
glove.
something,
Yeah,
and he knocks it out. Yeah, playing goalie there for a little bit.
Like stuff like that's cool. It's always cool to see that stuff happening.
Yeah, it's rare too. You
Um,
never see that.
yeah.
That's some actual Mighty Duck shit. You remember that one in the D2 or D3 where he like dives in front of the net and then saves it with his
Oh yeah,
chest?
those
I'm
movies,
waiting.
man.
I'm waiting to see that dude in the NHL. That's about as close as we might
Yeah.
get.
Can we take a minute and like talk about like how funny Mighty Ducks is? Where it's so funny to watch as a kid and it's fun, and you're like, this is so cool, hockey, right? And then when once you've played the sport, you're watching the stuff they're doing, and you're like, that guy would have gotten lit up. That guy would have been offside. That guy would have not scored that. So like just the things that happen.
You mean
The
professional
flying
figure
V when they
skater?
go offside, like
Yeah. You mean the professional figure skater and cowboy that are like fucking dancing around? That shit wouldn't
yeah,
fly, dude. Nah.
yeah.
I always thought that was so
Honestly,
funny too.
honestly, I want to watch. I want to watch the Flying V. You can pull up something else. I don't know if you had any other NHL like around the NHL highlights.
Yeah, I just wanted to pull up that other that extra puck thing that just happened.
Yes, I'm gonna send you a
Uh,
video that we can play. There's someone that talks about the Flying V and the Mighty Ducks, and they point out something that's like really funny.
It is funny, dude. I remember they even like tried to play into it a little bit in like the third video or the end of the second one where like that team was like, yeah, we're not gonna deal with this like kid bullshit. The flying V doesn't work. And
Yeah.
they just plowed through the whole team as they were trying to score and just took it and scored on them. Is that yeah, I think that was the second one. The Russian team or whatever. Or from Iceland
The
or whatever.
Iceland team,
Yeah.
yeah. They like take them out.
Like what is this
And
baby shit?
why was Iceland like the big bad like country? Why Iceland? Like what the fuck?
I don't know.
Like I'm sure they have a team in real life, but they're not like a powerhouse.
Yeah, I actually have no idea. I feel like you never hear about that like some of these other
Yeah.
teams. Like it's always like
I'm sure they have a team. Like Spain has a team now. Like
yeah, it's
but
always like
like
the Slavic countries or Russia, right?
mhm.
Or I guess Russia is a Slavic country. I don't know. People can correct me if I'm totally off base there.
Yeah, you might offend some Slavs out there. I don't know.
Sorry, yeah. But everything over there in Eastern Europe, right? And then like Norway and Finland, all the stuff in the north where the ice actually is, right? There's all those countries that you always hear about. And then there's always Canada, us, and
Oh, there's like Finland, Sweden as well. Yeah.
right, that's kind of what I was talking about with like the Nordic
Yeah.
stuff, the Slavic.
Yeah,
I
the
guess.
Nordics, yeah. And then yeah.
Yeah, sorry. I don't know why I said Slav. I think I was thinking Nordic. I said Slavic, but yeah, pretty much all the Eastern European countries, and then like Norway and Finland and
Yeah.
all this stuff up north.
Right. Like I've always
And
had
there's
like
us in
fantasies
Canada.
of being I've always had fantasies of being like, I want to get my citizenship in some random country where they do have a team and like be like one of the best players on the team because I'm from like North America.
Oh, you
Go
could be
play for like
oh, what was his name? Do you remember when we played high school? We had the foreign kid from Mexico City.
Mexico national team, right?
Yeah, he plays on the.
Yeah, he played for the Mexico team when he was like 17 or something, right?
I think he still plays for them, or I don't know if he
God.
still plays for them, but he still plays hockey. I've seen him recently on like.
Shout out Kevin. Shout out Kevin
Yeah,
Mattingly.
that was it, Kevin. Yeah.
Let's dox him. He lives at 1-2.
I don't know. He lives. I don't even know where in Mexico City he lives, but yeah, he still plays,
It's
dude.
funny. Yeah. No, I gotta check him out again. I gotta like see if he's on Facebook or something. That's funny. I remember him. I saw him right when I came in. Like I barely saw him like in summer league, and then he was gone.
Yeah, he ended up playing for Bingham for a while too. So, which was our rival team, but they were way better than us. Let's be honest. They were way better than us. At least those years we were there. So I don't blame him for playing for the better team. Yeah, miss that kid. He was funny. He was fun to play with.
He also had that little. Sorry, we'll talk about Kevin a little bit more here. Do you remember the time when he put like icy hot like on his like nether region?
I feel like I do. Yeah.
Like before a game, and he's all over there like, and we're like, why'd you do that? He's like over there crying, and it's like, what was your logic? I don't know if he was trying to amp himself up or.
I feel like this is something that people just know and is like expected, but like there's a lot of dumb shit that happens in like boys' locker rooms, especially around sports
Oh yeah.
boys' locker rooms. Like
Oh yeah.
it makes no sense.
There's always the naked guy. There's always someone that just is way too comfortable walking around naked.
Yeah, it
You got to
is
have that guy.
so funny.
We can start playing that game. We can have a game where we look at NHL teams and go, "Who's the naked guy on this team? Who's
the
that guy?
Who's the guy that never covers up in the locker room?
Yeah, like who's the
Getting
naked guy? Every team has a
getting
naked
awkwardly close to everybody when they're not clothed
guy."
in all parts of the locker room. Yeah. There's some dude. We're not gonna bring them up here, but there are some horror stories I've heard with some of the things some people would do in their like youth hockey league locker rooms with their friends, and I'm just like, what behooves people to do this shit with their
Yeah,
friends,
we'll
man?
keep those. Yeah,
Like we did
we'll
some
keep
weird.
those under
There's
wraps.
definitely some
Yeah.
weird stuff, but nothing like that I've heard of. There's some
Oh yeah.
crazy stuff.
The stuff I saw was always pretty tame, weird enough, but nothing to like be worried about.
Yeah, as weird as it's gonna get when you're like a teenager showering naked
Yeah.
with a bunch of other teenage kids. But like, yeah,
Yeah,
nothing.
I'm sure everybody's loving the naked locker room talk right now. We're probably getting those views right now.
Oh, they all know it's there though. Come on, all the parents have to know. They can't
No,
avoid
everybody
it.
knows.
All the dads knew ahead of time before their kid got in there. They did it themselves, or they had to deal with it in high school.
Oh man,
That's something I never
All right,
understood.
well-
Did you ever shower in gym class in high school or middle school, dude? I don't think I ever did that.
I never did. No, there was
Who the
always
heck is
there's always like
naked
2 or 3
at their
guys that would,
school
and
gym?
you're like, "What are you showering for? Just go to class." Like I would
Yeah.
just like put on some deodorant and kind of like shake out my shirt or whatever, and then go to class.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
I guess you and I are a bit lucky because we're on the skinnier side. So like gym class never made me like overtly
yeah,
sweat. So I didn't have
right.
to deal with that much. But yeah,
No,
dude,
but
who's getting
that's
naked in
crazy
their
if you're like
school
showering in there. Yeah,
gym locker room and changing, man? So weird. I
yeah,
wasn't gonna have
showering
to
in
do
locker
that.
room's wild.
Bunch of random kids I don't know.
Anyhow, I mean, we're talking about hockey here. You got a
Moving
highlight,
on.
Tim?
Yeah. Apparently in the Tampa Bay Minnesota game, there was an additional puck on the ice, and some people I guess thought we scored, or Minnesota scored, but didn't. So we'll just play this kind of. We'll see kind of them loop around the net here and take it back into the Tampa offensive zone. And you guys will probably see pretty quickly where the second
You
puck
talked about the fact that
happens.
shifts mean a little more to the face-off when they're against.
I'm already laughing. I don't know why.
Kind of just came out of
Same
nowhere.
can be said when those shots are against Vasilevsky. Here comes Rossi. He wins the race to the puck, but fires it wide.
See that? Y'all see that?
It's like, don't mind if I do. There's an extra puck here.
Yeah, check this out. So he beats him to the puck here, gets a shot off. I guess he doesn't see where the puck goes. You can kind of see it float over here, right there, in
Mhm.
between him and the ref. But watch, he's picking up another puck already, right here behind the net. The goalie sees the current puck. So does the other defenseman. The other guy's on the floor, I guess, behind the goalie. Ref sees this puck.
Wins the race to the puck.
Nobody notices that this guy picks up this other random puck and dumps it in the back of the net. Everyone's still playing the game.
Wide.
You see that fan too?
Wouldn't that be funny? Like, where's the fan? Where?
Right there, he's standing up. Yeah.
It's like that goal's not going to count, dude.
Yeah, they eventually stop the play right here. They
Right.
just stop it. Nothing happens, and then they go and they start to show that before the guy gets there, this is a previous play that happened.
Behind the Tampa goal.
They shot
Watch
it, went
just sit
behind,
there,
out of bounds, and just bounces and
nobody
just
ever
gets
goes and picks
stuck.
it up. So they drop a new puck. Play goes on. Puck. Marco Rossi misses. There's an extra
This is
puck
the real
behind
play.
the
He
net.
just picks
he
it up.
scoops it up
Boop.
and tucks it in.
So from a previous play, it went out of bounds over the goalie. Nobody picked the puck up because I guess nobody realized it bounced back onto the ice behind the net. and so it was there,
I know.
and he
So
just saw it, picked it up, and put it in the net, and kept playing. Like, it's so weird, man.
yeah, wow, that's wild. Like, oh, that's wild. You know, the Minnesota Wild, but it's wild how yeah, like how does the linesman not see that puck doing his due diligence, like making sure like there's not an extra puck before they have the next face off? Like, that's wild.
Yeah, I guess they just like would have assumed it like went out like over the like hit the net and like rolled behind the net in the glass and just into the stands. But
Mhm.
I guess they never saw it. Nobody saw it hit back on the
Mhm.
ice. Like, I don't know. It seemed to happen so fast though that like someone should have seen it. But I guess
Mhm.
they never also like the linesman doesn't really go like behind the goal line that often unless the play's like down there, right? So
Right.
once that
Yeah.
happened, they probably just never went back down there. And maybe the face-off got won for the Lightning and then went out of their zone. So maybe nobody like came back in and saw that.
Yeah. Well, it
But yeah.
makes you think too. Like, I'm thinking about like the casual fans out there that sometimes you hear people that are like, "Oh, like I'm struggling to see where the puck is and tell where the puck is," you know, and like this is that fan's worst nightmare. And they're like, "There's two pucks.
Yeah,
Which one do I look at?"
part of me was kind of hoping that somebody had like thrown it onto the ice
Like a fan,
and nobody noticed
they're being,
because that would
they're
have
being
been
escorted out
insane.
like as we speak. Yeah.
Yeah. Could you imagine that? Because like, people throw stuff on the ice when like there's a hat trick and other shit. So like I
Right.
could totally see somebody like trying to nonchalantly throw a puck onto the ice and nobody notice.
Right.
Don't get any
No.
ideas,
Yeah.
anybody, but also somebody try to fucking try that shit. I would love to see it. If you can get away with it. I'm not paying for your ticket though. If you get kicked
No,
out.
no, wow. That's crazy. Like fan interference, right? Like you have like fans that like will run onto like the football field, the soccer field, whatever, and like they're like running around. They'll run for as long as they can until like, you know, four security guys like tackle them or whatever.
Yeah,
And then
the
just thinking
closest you're
about
gonna
like,
get here is throwing something over the boards. You ain't climbing the glass without anybody seeing it.
right. But yeah, like that's the hockey version of fan interference. Like you can toss something over the glass. But yeah, I don't know if you saw the World Series, any of that stuff.
I
There
didn't.
was like one of the games where a fan right there on the wall, the Dodgers player went to go and catch the ball. And then the Yankees fan was like, one Yankees fan was holding his glove while the other Yankees fan like pried the ball out of his glove after he caught it. And just like shit like that.
That's crazy,
Like
dude.
this is wild. And then earlier in the
Psychopath.
World Series, there was a game earlier on. It was in LA, and there was a ball that would have the player that was going for the ball to catch it probably wouldn't have gotten to it. And it would have been like, you know, a double or something, like a pretty good hit for the Yankees. And then the Dodgers fan leaned over the wall, caught the ball. So obviously that makes the play like moot, like it doesn't count at that point. But then obviously he got to get kicked out. But I have to think like that fan was like thinking like, oh, I'm gonna fuck up this play so that Yankees don't get a good hit here. You know, like
Yeah.
it's just crazy.
I've
Yeah, you
I've
can't
always
interfere that
wondered
much
that
in
too.
hockey, but
Like those outfielders could just run right into those people in the stands, basically in baseball.
oh
Like
yeah,
no,
especially on
just
the
no.
sides where the wall is lower. You see
Yeah,
the guys like
by
tumble
like the
over the
first
wall
and
and
third
stuff.
base. Yeah, it's insane, man.
Hmm.
I can't believe after this
Anyway,
many years they still let that happen, to be honest. To let like fans
you know, it's kind of.
potentially catch the foul ball or whatever.
I mean, I think that's cool, but definitely when it's still like technically in play, like don't touch it. Like it's not your ball. Yeah.
But that's the thing, like you can't trust somebody in the stands to know whether the play is foul or not, right? So
Right.
like
Yeah.
maybe just don't let them don't let them get that close in the first place. Like it's
Yeah. It's kind
cool,
of wild.
definitely. I would love to sit like
Mhm.
that close to
Right.
the sport, but
Oh yeah.
I don't want someone to be able to interfere with the game.
Hmm.
But yeah, somebody try and throw a puck on the ice and not get noticed. That'd be sick. um yeah, that was kind of all I think I had
Yeah.
from the NHL. I
Oh,
know that there was
oh, me too.
few other
Yeah.
things that happened, but we can kind of maybe talk about those as we go.
Another
maybe
thing I wanted to bring up that I just thought of just now is we can look at the standings right now, but we got to give props to the Capitals
yeah, let's go over here
because
to the
the
standings.
Capitals, I think they're 8-2.
Yeah, 8-2.
Yeah,
Second.
I think
now
earlier
in the-
on we
in
had
their
an
standings.
episode where we kind of did our our little unofficial kind of ranking predictions, and we were saying, oh yeah, Washington's going to drop off a cliff or whatever, and here they are 8-2. I mean, last year they were really bad; they barely made it in the playoffs. The season's long, but I think they're going to be like a real deal this year. And Ovechkin's he started off slow with goals, but now he has like 6 goals in 10 games, 10 games. So
Damn. How old is he now?
for those out,
Got to be old.
he's like 38. He's got gray hair. I mean, he's had gray hair since he was like 35, but still, like,
Let's find out, everybody.
and he's got like a dad bod. People always want to make fun of his dad bod.
He is 39.
But it's like
holy shit.
39, yeah.
This bro is the
But yeah.
grandpa in the NHL right now, just destroying kids still.
Mhm.
That's insane.
Oh yeah. Well, and he's still scoring from that same spot, when he like stands at the circle on the power play and like just waits for the one timer. Like
yeah, we've been
he's
seeing
still doing
a lot of
that. He
That's
still
kinda-
does that, and you're like, how does the goalie not like cheat a little bit to that one side? But I guess if you do that, then it gets passed over to the other side and you're burned. But it's wild.
Yeah, I feel like you can't really cover both of those sides as a goalie effectively, but we see a lot of that. I feel like that's a lot of how we're scoring too. Gunther's got like what 3-4 goals in that same kind of spot, like lower circle.
Yeah, and quick shooting. Yeah.
Yeah, especially when
Either-
people are in power plays and stuff. Like that's kind of the way everybody's been setting up. Like we
Mhm.
even see the guy that's kind of lower, like where McKinnon scored that we showed earlier. We always see a guy kind
Mhm.
of standing there facing his own team to get that pass to maybe make a play toward the front of the net or something like that.
Right. No, yeah. But yeah, I just wanted to point that out that the Capitals are really starting off well, and
Yeah,
and
this-
Ovechkin, he's going for the Gretzky goal record, which is wild. You wouldn't think a Gretzky record could be beaten, and then here's
What's the
Ovechkin.
record?
He's like the goal record all time is Gretzky at 894, I think.
Jesus, almost 900
And
goals.
Ovechkin needs like 36 more, and he'll have more than he'll break that record, which is insane because you just never think someone's going to break a Gretzky record. And we can see that happen maybe this year if he stays hot, or even next year early on. Like we're going to watch someone break a Gretzky record, but I just think it's cool to think about.
I wonder how long he's going to be able to keep playing at 39. That seems crazy, but he seems like he's totally fine. He's definitely slower than
Right.
he used to be, but that's to be expected.
Oh yeah,
But he's still got the hands.
Yeah, no.
He's still got the shot. He's still
I honestly
he needs to
feel
be
like-
most of the time.
I think he might we might see it be a thing where he gets that goal to pass Gretzky, and then maybe scores a few more to hit 900, right? Like a nice round number, and then he'll quit. Even if it's 20 games into the season, he'll be like, I'm done.
He'll retire, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I wouldn't blame him. He's been playing forever. And
Yeah.
he's been, really top of the game, keeping the Capitals in there. And yeah, this
Mhm.
this division's crazy. I would not have thought that Capitals would be where they're at right now. Columbus is 5th over Pittsburgh and the Islanders. Like what?
I know. Props to Columbus.
Also-
Sean Monahan on Columbus. He's been kicking ass. He's Johnny Gaudreau, the player that passed away.
I do.
yeah, Johnny Gaudreau. Yeah, Gaudreau. Was in the league for 12 years. He and his brother passed away. They over the summer, they got killed in a biking accident. They were biking and a drunk driver killed him.
Oh my god. I had
This
no
is
idea.
this is morbid, but most people have heard about this, and anybody that hasn't is probably very shocked. But yeah, he passed away, and then his brother was in the minor leagues, so still a player, but just not as known.
And they
But
played
yeah, Sean
for-
Monahan.
Who did they play for?
He just recently played for Columbus. Johnny Gaudreau did, yeah. He played for the Flames for a long year, and then he played for the Columbus Blue Jackets the last couple of years. But Sean Monahan, who's on the Blue Jackets now, he was like best friends with Johnny Gaudreau, and this year he's been like tearing it up. I think he has like about a point per game, and part of me wants to think like he's doing it like for Johnny, like he's like he just has this extra like oomph, this season. I just want to see him go out there and like tear it up and like dedicate everything to Johnny Gaudreau. I think that'd just be awesome. Anyway, just a side note.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I agree. I think it would be cool to see the Blue Jackets kind of start sticking around in the middle upper part of the pack. I feel like I don't know much about them, but just to keep digging in some other people that might still listen to this, I'm glad to see Pittsburgh at the lower part of the bracket for once.
Shout out to a friend of the pod, Joe.
Yeah. Good luck, Joe.
Look at the Flyers. Flyers are doing bad. I think that's
Yeah.
unfortunate because I've never hated them. I've always kind of liked them, but
They used to always be kind of a decent team, yeah. But they're
Mhm.
they're at the bottom here with the Islanders, which is interesting. I also noticed that like the points are and the games played are all over the place. Like look at this. Devils and Pittsburgh
14.
have 13 and 14 games, and Carolina's only played 9.
Carolina's been 9. I know, that's crazy.
And somehow
Yeah.
Carolina's like way up here in the middle of the pack when these guys have all played way more games than them. So I'm just like, what is happening with this? I guess it obviously evens out over time, but it just seems nuts. Like look
Yeah.
at the Jets.
Scheduling
20
is-
points for the Jets. The closest one I think is like 17 across these other divisions. Oh, 19. There we go. That was the only other one.
19 with the
Everybody else-
Predators.
The
Yeah.
Panthers, yeah.
Or Panthers, not Predators. Sorry, everybody. The
They're
reigning
both
Cup
Cats,
champions.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah,
like
I mean,
those two are kind of like running away with the points this season.
the Winnipeg thing is pretty like unexpected. I did not think they were going to be like this.
Yeah, crazy. Because where did they end up last season? Didn't they not even make it to the?
They were in the playoffs. They were pretty solid. They finished like second or third in their division with like 100 something points, but I just didn't see them doing this.
Yeah,
I thought, they're going to be a middling team.
Yeah, because last season it was what, Winnipeg, Dallas, Avalanche, and Nashville that went to the playoffs?
From the Central Division, yeah.
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 And Dallas and I think Avalanche were like pretty top of the pack, right? Like they made it
yeah.
to the actual playoffs where like Nashville made the wild card. Was Winnipeg also a wild card?
No, I think Winnipeg was like a top spot, like second in division or something. But I mean, either way, they got like swept in the first round anyway, so it's kind of a moot point. It's one of those things where like you could be so good in the regular season, but if you can't get it done in the playoffs, then it doesn't matter too much. But
yeah, we had a lot of other good teams in the playoffs. It was what, Knights, Canucks, Oilers, Rangers were there, and I don't know if there were any other teams from the Metropolitan. Maybe the Hurricanes were a
I don't think so. No. Hurricanes were in. Yeah, they were playing somebody.
And I think it was.
It's all a blur. By the time playoffs end, I kind of forget, and I just remember like the final at that point.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember as well. I don't remember everybody, but I think Boston and Maple Leafs.
Boston was in Toronto, yeah.
I think Tampa might have got a wild card, but I don't remember. And maybe the Senators did
too. Yeah, look at Boston, 5-6-1. That's kind of wild too, because
that was the other one I was gonna point out. I was like, what the heck happened here? Like all of
that
this.
I don't mind. I don't mind seeing it.
This season seems to have like kind of flopped on its head, at least for this first like couple of months here. Every one of these teams, at least like most of them, some of these are still the typical top teams we saw from last season, like Vegas and Florida, obviously. But like, yeah, some of these other ones that were like in the playoffs doing really well, like have been struggling these last couple months. Which kind of brings me to Utah, where like I don't know how Arizona did last season whatsoever, but we're at 4th in the division right now. That's pretty damn good for a team that I basically never paid attention to beforehand.
Right. No, yeah, I was kind of the same way. I especially didn't watch Arizona a lot because they were one of the teams that was like a blackout for me on ESPN Plus. So I couldn't even watch them anyway. So I was just like, well, I just won't pay attention to them. But yeah, like they're a better team than they thought they were. But also, we can talk about it more when we get into Utah. But we saw like one team the first 6 games, and then we saw another team the last 6 games.
Yeah. I mean, let's start talking about
Like yeah, like which team do we have? Do we have the 4-1-1 team? Is that our team come the end of the season, or is it the team that just went like 1-3-2?
Yeah, it was a totally different 2
Like,
weeks from last.
like I don't know which team we have.
I feel
I
like we
don't know.
have both, man. I've been kind of noticing like and I feel like we're kind of picking it up a little bit more because we just
Mhm.
played Vegas last night, and I know that's like the most recent game, so maybe we can kind of talk
Right.
about some of the others as well. But
Yeah.
when we played Vegas last night, we were toe to toe with them. Same with like LA and I mean, previously we've been playing other teams as well. We were pretty toe to toe with most
Right.
teams, or had a lead, or
Mhm.
whatever. We just weren't getting good chances. I think maybe the
Yeah.
Senators kind of ran it away with us these last 2 weeks, and
Mhm.
same with the Avalanche. But the rest of the games, especially Vegas, like we were kind of in control of that game the whole time, which I would not have
Mhm.
expected. I would have thought we would have
Yeah, and
lost
we even
like
had
5-0 or something.
Utah was even up 2-0, and then all of a sudden Vegas like woke up and they were like, "Oh, we're playing a hockey game, okay." And then they started like scoring goals.
Yeah, but even then, Utah didn't like let up. We still like were back checking really well. We were still keeping most of the possession. We just weren't getting a
Mhm.
lot of shot opportunities.
Yeah,
And
we were texting about it, and I was saying how like the shots were so lopsided. Vegas had so many more shots, but I
very,
still felt like the few shots Utah had were a lot more dangerous, and the pressure was more dangerous. It was a lot more like keeping the puck in the zone. Vegas was more like they would get a shot off, and then the puck would end up being broken out. Like
yeah, I
a lot more
agree.
sustained pressure from Utah, even though their shots were so few.
Yeah, and I remember
Yeah.
you saying that, and I didn't even look at the shots. And when you said that, I looked at them, and I think you were right. It was like something like 25 to like 12 or
Mhm.
something. It was very
Yeah,
different. But yeah, I felt
but I
like
think like
Utah was in control of the game most of the time. We had most of the possession. But I do think there was a lot of back and forth with just kind of nothing happening from both sides, where we just were giving it
Mhm.
up back and forth in the neutral zone a lot.
Right.
And so was Vegas. So it was kind of just kind of a lot of back and forth like that, of just like not getting good opportunities. But I felt like Utah did have the puck possession quite a bit more,
Mhm.
and I agree. I thought
Yeah.
their opportunities were way better. We just weren't capitalizing on them. Vegas was doing really well in defensive zone and shutting us down.
Right. No, yeah. Um, it was a really good game overall. It was a fun one.
Yeah, I enjoyed watching it.
I mean,
We kept it to the end.
we,
We ended up going to OT, and just unfortunately, I
yeah,
think we were
got
tired.
1 point at least. We got a standings
Yeah,
point. So
we got tired,
yeah, I think
and
you're right. Tired. Mhm.
somebody walked around Kerfoot, I think, and just kind of shelved it over Ingram's
Mhm.
glove.
Yeah, I don't know if you noticed on the broadcast, you could hear the Vegas bench saying they're tired. They're tired.
Yeah, I
You
do
could actually
remember
hear
that.
it picked
Yeah,
up on the broadcast.
I think the Utah broadcasters even
Yeah.
mentioned that. They said that they could hear that. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, and
But yeah,
once I did hear that, I was like, this isn't going to end well because you just know at some point in overtime, that 3-on-3 overtime, once one side is tired,
it's
all it takes
rough,
is
dude.
just a guy has to get burned, and then it's over unless the goalie like comes up with some insane save.
Super clutch, yeah. That
Yeah.
would be rough, but I really like the 3-on-3. Like I think it adds
Mhm.
so much more excitement, because like if we did 5-on-5 OT again, it just goes forever.
Yeah, that's
And
what they do in overtime. Playoffs. I mean, it's great in the playoffs, but yeah, during the regular season, it's fun to see those little quick, uh, really open ice type of situations.
yeah, I agree with that as well. Like yeah, I was kind of last season because we were doing the 3-on-3 last season, I think, in OT during a regular season. I was kind of
Mhm.
curious if they were going to do that in playoffs too, but I was happy that we didn't, and happy that we ended
Yeah,
up going with 5-on-5 because it matters more, right? So it doesn't matter how long
right,
the game goes; it's more about like who the better team is. And I think
right,
with like during regular season, it matters less because it's more about points, right, rather than like who's gonna win the cup. And so I like the
right.
fact that they do the 3-on-3 OT because it like not only is it going to be a little bit quicker, but it's more exciting because like more stuff's going to happen or it's going to be more like scuffly because there's so much open
Right.
ice. So
No,
yeah, I
yeah.
think it was a great choice. I like watching it a lot,
Mhm,
but it's like
mhm.
it's very noticeable when one side is like uh doing well in that. Like I've noticed like Utah's pretty damn good in the OT 3-on-3 because our guys are fast, they're young, they still have a lot of energy at the end of the game to like at least more than some of the other teams I've noticed. Like we're still back
Mhm.
checking a lot in OT on 3-on-3. We're
Right.
getting a lot of
And
good strips too, which I've noticed from doing that, and
yeah,
it's won us a
and
lot
even
of
like
OT games.
offensively, so much different firepower. You got Keller, you got Cooley, you got Gunther. Any one of those guys can be the guy that takes the shot, like
Hmm.
in overtime. Like each line that goes over the boards, we have shooters. I will
Yeah,
say it's kind of interesting seeing Kerfoot on overtime as much as he is. No offense to Kerfoot, but I don't. I guess he's more defensive, but I personally like. I guess I'm not an NHL coach, obviously, but if I was a coach, I'd like to have my more offensive guys out there and take more chances offensively. And then, if we get scored on, we get scored on. But I'd rather have like the snipers out there as opposed
yeah,
to the guy that is like sound defensively. It's like being sound defensively doesn't necessarily matter when it comes down to like speed and yeah. But
yeah. I kind of agree. I think you definitely want the two offensive players, and then at least one more defensive player at the very least if you're gonna
mhm,
have a full offensive team out there.
right.
But unfortunately, also for Kerfoot, I think he's the one that got walked around and
He
split
was,
on
yeah.
against
And
Vegas. He just kind of
yeah.
made a
And
move, and the other guy kind of anticipated it and went around him the other way, and that he ended up shelving it over Ingram's glove.
yeah. And once again, yeah, he was out there probably for
Yeah,
like a minute and a half or something. And you can't blame him too much if he's like sucking wind out there. But
yeah. At that point in
yeah.
the game, when you've played most of the game prior, like it's hard to continue, especially like 3-on-3 where there's so much open ice. You've got to skate so much more. Like
Mhm,
you're going to need to take shorter shifts, and it's going to be way harder to take the shift, especially when
mhm.
you're on the far side of the ice from the bench, which we were. So yeah, I don't blame
Right.
him
No, yeah.
whatsoever. I wouldn't have done any better in this situation. But it is
No,
it is
yeah.
hard to like play those 3-on-3s well because you're right, like any single mess up and the game's over.
Yeah, it comes down to one little like screw up, one little miscue, or
Mhm.
yeah, it comes down to that. We saw it with the Crosby goal earlier that we looked at.
Yeah.
Miscue, goal.
Yep, the two guys
You're too
are like
tired, goal. Like,
yeah. The two guys are ready to like go out because you're breaking out, but the guy like misses it, but you guys are kind of already out of the zone. Like we see that a lot. We
mhm.
see like too many people are in the offensive zone, like trying to be too offensive, and they're kind of just out of position. They can't catch the guy as he like snipes the pass and
It
takes
turns
the
to a three on one.
breakaway.
Yeah.
Yeah, we see that all the time. Yeah, it's really
Yeah.
hard.
Anyway,
Um,
yeah, but I don't know if now we want to get more into Utah, and
yeah,
we'll
let's
kind of
keep
skip
going.
over a couple games. We'll keep it brief with a couple of them. But so we just talked about Vegas. That's the most recent one.
Yeah, I think
A
the other
couple weeks
two to
ago,
bring up.
yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say a couple weeks ago we played Ottawa, we played Colorado. They both like destroyed Utah.
Yeah, let's
There's
go
not much to
through
talk about.
their
Just bad
games.
efforts by Utah in both games. Ottawa was definitely one on paper that we could have won. Maybe
Yeah,
the Avalanche.
if I
I
remember
think we
right,
could have had a closer game.
with the Senators, we just got like out bullied. They were
Yeah.
just way
One
more
is all the
aggressive and
and all the scoring was in the first period. That's the worst part. So it was 4-0 after one, and then it's like you have two more periods to score at least 4 goals.
yeah, ouch. So yeah, we were just
and
maybe getting shut down and not getting any good opportunities. We were shooting a
and
lot
even
though, it looks like. Winning
yeah,
faceoffs.
one of the center's goals happened with like seconds left in the period too. That last 1952, so 8 seconds left.
Yeah.
And maybe that's a huge difference if they go into the locker room 3-0 instead of 4-0. Maybe that changes things, like just
Yeah,
in terms of the mental side of it. But
feel a little less
yeah, it
bad
was
for that
bad.
one.
There's not much else to talk about with this one. We can move
Yeah.
on and talk more about the games that are more fun to talk about, I guess. But
Yeah, that one in the Avalanche game kind of felt the same to me. We kind of just got
Mm.
run over a little bit. Maybe
same thing,
we
yeah.
were losing our edge a little bit. Coming off the previous weeks, feeling really good. Maybe we were a little cocky,
Mhm.
playing a little more relaxed than we normally would have. But we still played really well, which is crazy. Like, look at this. We went
Yeah.
even in shots. We won 71% of basically 72% of the faceoffs. That's insane.
Yeah. Utah did that yesterday too against the Knights, the Golden Knights. They had like an 80% face-off percentage.
Yeah, so we're not
So,
doing bad. It just seems like maybe we're getting maybe a little bullied physically because we are a smaller, faster team rather than like a bigger
yeah, we brought that up.
physical
Yeah.
team. And
Mhm.
maybe we just weren't getting any good offensive chances. I've noticed quite a bit that we turn the puck over a lot,
Yep.
or we just don't get a
Lots of
lot of good
turnovers.
breakouts. And yeah, like look at this, 19 giveaways. That's insane. Granted, we had 12 giveaways from Avalanche,
Mhm.
but we're at least trying to get them back. That's the other good thing I've noticed is if we do give these things away, we are back checking a lot. We're still trying to play. We're not giving up. So that's good. I do
Right.
see a lot of teams that don't do that very often.
Yeah.
It tends to be some of these like older, more experienced teams, but they tend to have a
Yeah.
little bit better control, like being able to slow it down and like make the pass that makes sense rather than maybe playing fast and just trying to like make a play.
No, yeah, I agree. I think that's still part of it for sure. Like a lot of the young players on Utah and the other younger teams in the league, you got these players who are still adjusting to the NHL game, still getting used to the speed, getting used to how smart guys are, the guys that have played longer and just what they've learned over the years. And yeah, like you said, I think sometimes they're almost doing things too quick and they're more like, let's just get there. Let's like go to the goal. But sometimes you got to slow it down. You got to set it up. You got to kind of, take a look. Like you hear that phrase, like, hey, take a look, like find your guy, like find the lane. And sometimes it's kind of just like a quick, like, hey, let's get there.
Yeah,
And then
I gotta say
yeah,
the no look behind the back passes need to stop. We've seen
hate those.
far
Especially
too
the
many
zone
of
entries like
those.
that. I hate those.
Yeah, we're just
It's
giving
like
it
get the
over every
puck into
time.
the zone. At this point, dump it in if you're doing that. Dumping it in is better than that. And
Or
even dumping in isn't the best, but
at least make sure someone's there. Like I've noticed that we tend to do it when like we see the guy coming in, but we don't see the defenseman who's right there blocking the pass. And so
who's
we
like
just
waiting for it. Yeah.
yeah, so we just give it up. And so I
The
kind of
defender's like
really
licking his chops watching the puck,
yeah, we need to just make kind of a little bit better decisions, I think, and maybe slow it down a little bit and make a little bit of better breakout passes, I think, and we'll do a lot better, I think, because I don't think we're doing bad. I think we're doing really well, but I think we're
Yeah.
spending a lot of time back checking when if we just kind of slowed it down maybe a little and um, broke out a little better, we probably wouldn't lose the
Yeah.
puck to have to cause ourselves to back check so much.
Right. Yeah. And I think as the season goes along, those little details will get better as the players that are younger start to get more games under their belt. Right. Like at some point, it's got the repetition, just like anything else, like working out or whatever, like the reps, you're going to build up on something. And hopefully we start to see those things improve as the season goes along. And hopefully we see more of the team we saw in the first 6 games and less of the team that we saw in the last 6 games. But,
Yeah, how many of the guys have been playing like for years with Arizona? Are most of these guys fairly new to the NHL?
a lot of them are younger. A lot of them are like in their second year, like Cooley, Gunther. Josh Doan. Josh Doan actually just got sent down to the AHL. That's one level below for those. It's like AAA. If you're a baseball fan, it's the same as the AAA level. If you're a basketball fan, it's like the G League. But yeah, it's like the level right below. So he just got sent down recently.
Interesting.
Josh
Yeah,
Doan
I
did.
do remember his name, and I haven't seen it in a bit.
Yeah, and Kyler Yamamoto as well. He got sent down. So we sent 2 of our guys down recently. Part of that too is because Nick Bjugstad came back from injury. He's been playing really solid. We could talk about him when we get into the next couple of games here. But Bjugstad came back from injury recently, and he's been pretty badass. Like, I've loved watching him.
Yeah, that's the big, tall defenseman, right? The blonde guy.
Forward, he plays center. Yeah, he plays center, like on the third line. Yeah, I've liked him a lot. He's very big, very rangy. You know.
Yeah, I noticed he was more one of the physical guys last night. So I definitely.
Yeah, he helps the physical side of things for sure. I think his first game back was the Kings game. I think that was his first one back.
Okay.
And he had a solid game too. We don't have to go too far into that one, but I noticed, I was curious, I looked, I was like, oh, how did his first game go, like stat wise? He had like 4 hits. He had like a block shot, a shot on goal. Like, he pretty much did a little bit of everything in his first game. And he played like 14 minutes, which is pretty solid for a guy coming back from an injury.
Yeah, I think I saw. I don't think it was Bjugstad, but it was somebody on Utah is second for most block shots in the league right now.
Oh wow, yeah, I didn't know that.
I don't remember who it was. It might have been the guy that got the scores that we looked at earlier, the highlights. What's his last name?
The Utah guy, Michelli?
Yeah, I think it might have been him.
No. Oh. Let me look it up.
Maybe look. I don't know where we'd find stats though.
Well, a stat like block shots is a harder one to find. It's not like one of the main ones you see. Yeah, like, you have to like really look for it. I
might be able to find it like their stats here, maybe. But yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting. Skaters.
Well, and I have noticed that like the games that I've really watched, I have seen a lot of shot blocking happening just in general in the NHL. Whenever I'm watching a game, I'm seeing more shot blocking.
Yeah, there's no way I'm going to
find it. It seems like.
We'll come back to it maybe. I'll bring it as a thing to bring up next week. I'll go back and find out who it was. But yeah, it was one of our centers or something like that. Someone who plays forward. But
you'll have to check it out in post maybe.
Yeah, I'll just go do some research and I'll come back to it next episode and bring it up if I remember. But one of our guys is second for block shots in the league right now. At like 20.
Go Utah guy. Go guy.
Yeah, somebody let us know who it is. I don't know. Yeah. Somebody's got to remember. But yeah, I think I'm kind of with you. Like we don't know what our team is. I think that it's great that we're like sitting here like 4th in the division. We're up there. We're beating Colorado.
Right. Yeah.
St. Louis.
It's not like hit the panic button. Like, we're not like horrible. But I think we definitely got like a reality check as a fan base. I think the way those first few games went, we were like, we're going to kick so much ass. And then we got the reality check when we lost 2 in a row and then lost the 3rd in a row, and we're starting to realize, oh, okay, we're not going to like be second in the division and like roll through the playoffs just yet.
Yeah. And we're not losing to bad teams either. Like, the Senators are doing really well. The Kings are second in their division, so they're doing really well right now. Even Calgary, I think, is 3rd or 4th in their division. And even though Avalanche isn't doing super well right now, they're still a really solid team. So really,
the Avalanche, the
only one, and I mean, we even destroyed like 5-1 against Calgary. So that was a really good game for us. But the only one that was really like a weirdo game was when we lost to the Sharks, and we were up 4-1 that whole game. Right? This was that was weird rough outlier where we just like randomly lost in the 3rd period. Lost whatever we were doing.
They scored like 3 goals in the last like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And every single time they had their goalie pulled, we just couldn't get the puck out of the zone. They just kept scoring. And I was at this game, so I was watching this. Like, I had the privilege of watching this collapse. So it was really frustrating because Utah just could not just ice the puck at that point. Ice the puck. I don't care. Ice the puck 15 times. don't let them score 3 goals in the last few minutes.
Yeah, I
Like,
think
they
they had
had
the
that
goalie
game.
pulled, but I can't remember if we had a penalty as well. I think we might have been 6-on-4 for a period of that, right? Am I
I don't
remembering?
think so. I know there was a penalty in overtime. We can go into the game if you want to click on that game. We can
There was a
look at the
penalty in
actual.
overtime. Maybe that's what I was thinking.
Right.
Yeah, I think I have it here. But I think we were looking at the Michelli goals.
Yeah. So earlier in the game, when it was going well, Matthias Michelli scored his first 2 goals of the season, and I think both of them are really good goals if we want to look at both of those, Tim.
Yeah, let's pull those up real quick, and then we can kind of talk about what went wrong here at the end of the game, and maybe then we can wrap up the episode. We're actually already at an hour, so.
Yeah. We could briefly go over Calgary as well, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so puck's in the zone, really good puck movement, get the shot, and the puck just kind of finds its way in. The slower is easier to see.
What, like sliding in on his knees? Because he gets kind of tripped up?
Yeah. Yeah, so Michelli, he's kind of waiting right there in front. 63. He just goes for it, just kind of whacks at it. I think he barely, maybe makes contact just a little tiny bit with his stick. And it just kind of makes its way in.
And let's give some love to the Kerfoot, Bukestad, and Kraus line, who were the line that came
he barely
out
smacked
just
it.
before this
And even before that, I'm looking at that goalie not being able to handle that puck and put it in a better position, like being able to rebound it cleaner.
Yeah,
and that's where you're like, oh wow, yeah, I can see why the Sharks are 0-7-2 going into this game. But then jokes on us later because we lost to the team that couldn't win a game. But
yeah, I think they won another one. I can't remember who else they beat, but they beat someone else recently too.
They beat the Kings the next game, and I was like, hey, they're on a roll. Let's do it.
Let's go Sharks! Shout out to Kyle.
Yeah, shout out. I saw Kyle at that game. I didn't get to say hi to him, but I saw him from a distance. So shout out Kyle.
Let's go. That's good that he's.
I saw him with he had the whole family there seeing his team win, so that was cool for him.
Nice. You got his boys there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah, this goal is just a cool example of a player just going for it and just trying and doing what he can, and it worked out. You
can see it takes just a weird little bounce
before he hits it, right? The bounce.
So it's bouncing
to the Kerfoot, Bukestad, and Kraus line, who were the.
You see that?
Yeah.
Bounce.
Line that came out just
kind of
before
bounces.
Goes down and then bounces up. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just that weird puck physics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then his next goal. Let's look at the other Michelli goal. I don't know if it's the third one or the fourth one.
Third goal in the game.
That was my bad. I didn't look at that ahead of time to let you know.
It's all good. I've got the timestamp right here, so we're good.
Okay, cool.
So yes, third goal in the game. So San Jose.
Here's the next Michelli one. Another great example. Good puck movement, keeping the puck around the zone. And here's another great example of Michelli once again just being in front of the net and finding the puck. Just roofs the puck. He didn't have to roof it, but he roofs the puck.
That's something I noticed too when I saw this, because I think I was actually watching it live with you. I wasn't there, but I think I was watching it on ESPN.
Watching, I think you were. You were texting me, telling me you were. Yeah.
But after this goal, look at the fan that's celebrating here. This guy was at the very first opening game and is in with a highlight video from Utah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
That's awesome.
So it was super funny when I saw this guy. I was like, wait, I remember this guy, because he was it
was
the other side, and he was doing the same thing, and it's the same clip of him. That's funny. So shout out to that guy. He's gonna be at all these games.
Ask questions later. And what
does
Ian Cole do here?
The puck movement was great in this game. Utah was kicking ass in this game. I just don't know what happened in the last 5 minutes. But this whole game, they were kicking ass. They were beating a team they should have beat. Every time they were in the zone, they were keeping it in the zone. Stopping a lot of breakouts and keeping the puck in on the blue line. It was going well until it wasn't going well, I guess. Yeah, not much else to talk about there. It just collapsed. Overtime.
Maybe we just
we got a penalty. Got a penalty in overtime, so then it was a power play, and they scored like 5 seconds into the power play. The initial shot like went off the back glass, bounced in front of the net, and then the Sharks player just banged it in. That was an ugly one. That was sad to see.
We had in the third period they scored the 3 goals to tie it. One at 15:28, time passed. The next one at 15:53, so literally like 25 seconds later. And then the last one came at 17:18, time passed.
Well, that's the thing too. That last one, there was still over 2.5 minutes left.
Yeah,
I was just like, that's all right. It's tied game, but Utah can just score another one, take the lead back. And then they just didn't. The rest of that game, San Jose, I think they got a lot of life out of that. And I think at that point, those players had a lot of pride, right? Like every player has pride. And I think they were like, we're not letting this one slip away.
Yeah, they just gained the momentum, just scoring.
We can win a game now, and we're not going to not win this one. So I think at that point, Utah was facing not just the team they were playing, but they were facing like just an unstoppable like force, I guess.
Yeah, it's definitely hard. Like I would imagine being on Utah, like my I'm gonna say pride, but that's not the right word I'm thinking, would be shot there after just getting scored on, like in the
confidence, maybe.
Yeah, that's probably a better word. Would be shot, like getting scored on 3 times in a matter of like less than 5 minutes when you're up that much. And then it kind of shows in overtime. We got like maybe a dumb penalty. They got a power play, and within like a minute and a half, they scored and won the game.
Not so much dumb. I did, watching the game, it was one where Kesselring kind of had to like trip the guy. Like if he didn't trip the guy, it would have been a goal anyway. Like he was about to like deke around the goalie. So it was one of those things of like, he should have taken the penalty, but it was just a bummer that, the penalty didn't last very long before they scored.
Yeah.
119 was the penalty and 1 was the goal.
Yeah. Called for Huding.
I swear the goal was like 6 seconds into the power play.
It was, yeah. The overtime time when the penalty happened was 119, and they scored at 1:26.
Same thing. Just get the puck out. Just get it out. Gonna do it. Yeah, San Jose, I think they weren't going to be stopped. So good for them. Good for San Jose, but that was a real bummer to be up like that after losing so many games in a row and then losing another one to a team we shouldn't have lost to.
Yeah, I agree.
But I know you want to wrap up
next week, and we beat Calgary 5-1.
That was an awesome game.
We didn't outshoot them, but we did win more faceoffs. We didn't have a lot of penalties, which is good. We definitely got out-hit a bit. We didn't have as many giveaways this time, but we still had a decent amount of takeaways as we usually do, so that's good. Yeah, we just got I don't remember really watching this. I feel like I just watched the highlights of this one, but I feel like we kind of were in control of this game the whole time. It didn't seem like Calgary was getting anything from what I remember.
No, yeah. This is another game I was at. I was at this one too, and the whole time, all of Calgary's shots, they were all like kind of just like useless little shots, if that makes sense. Like, yeah, they had more shots on goal, but probably like 25 of the shots they actually took were just like low percentage, weren't anything for the goalie to deal with. Like Ingram really only had to make like 4 actual like big saves. Yeah. And I remember just thinking like, wow, like we're playing great. Like we're stopping Calgary from really having a chance, keeping them to the outside. Yeah, it was a really strong win. That was a fun one to see after seeing the Sharks collapse. But yeah, Maverick Lamoureux, shout out to him, the rookie. He's 20 years old. He scored his first NHL goal in this game.
I do remember that.
And shout out to, right? Yeah, just he had to stick like all the way up to the rafters. Like he was just waiting for it, winding up.
I think I remember that. Yeah, top shelf.
Yeah, it was beautiful. It was nice. And then shout out to Michael Backlund on the Calgary Flames. He played his 1,000th game that night, so it was kind of cool to be in that, to see like a player hit their 1,000th game. That was kind of cool.
Yeah, it's a lot of games, man.
It's always cool. I don't care if you're rooting for that guy, you're rooting for that team. Everybody in the crowd, they acknowledged that, and everybody was like cheering for the guy, because you got to cheer for anybody that plays 1,000 NHL games. Like, yeah.
I think something similar with like Fleury, right? Isn't that kind of where he's at as well, something like that, and that's why like people are saying his last game in Pittsburgh was this
Well,
week
yeah,
or something.
he's officially said like this is his last year, and yeah, he played in his last game in Pittsburgh like last week, and everybody was like rooting for him. And at the end of the game, everybody was chanting like Fleury, 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 even though the Penguins were losing the game because people were so like
because he
they
was
were
their
rooting for
goalie
Fleury.
for most of the time, right?
Yeah.
Didn't they go and get a couple of
Yeah.
cups with him as the goaltender?
They won 3 cups with him.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and it was cool to see that. And even like all the Penguins got off the ice after the game ended, except for like Crosby and Letang because they've played with him for so many years. They like waited for him and like stood there and watched him skate around, and yeah, really cool.
Yeah, I think I remember seeing that as well. They kind of said their last like goodbyes to him, kind of in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a good, good couple weeks, man. Utah may not have done as well, but they're still 4th place in the standings and in our division, which is pretty good considering we have some pretty good teams. Dallas, Colorado,
yeah, and
Winnipeg.
getting some confidence back in terms of scoring goals, at least. That's also been really cool to see. They had those few games where they couldn't score, and now they're starting to score again, which is fun to see. It's always fun to see them scoring more like they were at the beginning of the season. Yeah, we're going a little bit long here, but I don't know if you just want to not preview, but I think they're going to be on a road trip here. Their first game was that Vegas one they just played. Next, they're playing Winnipeg.
Let's go look at the next week here.
Yeah.
So
they're going to play the really hot Winnipeg team.
There's our loss to Vegas. So yeah, we're going to play Winnipeg on Tuesday, and St. Louis and Nashville, and I will actually be at the Nashville game.
Oh yeah.
So that'll be good to go see that. Be my first time watching the Preds play in the Bridgestone Arena. My first time in the arena. So first official major event in Tennessee.
First NHL game ever for you?
I don't know, actually. I might have gone to one before.
Okay, but first game in Nashville, seeing your Preds.
Yeah.
There you go. That's something right there to celebrate.
Yeah. It doesn't matter who wins the game, to me, honestly. I'm rooting for both of them.
That's going to be awesome too.
I won't be mad either way.
Yeah, you sent me pictures of your seats too, and they look awesome. So I'm excited for you. Center ice and everything, great.
Yeah, I did.
Good view of the whole game.
I did go up higher because I was like, even though I want to sit mid ice, like I feel like sitting mid ice behind the box or behind the players, like you'd have to get like a decent seat, like kind of middle up on that section. So I was like, all right, well, I don't really want to pay $200 a ticket, so
right.
I'll just go higher.
The seats
it's basically the same view.
They were awesome. Yeah, that's honestly what I like. I prefer to be upper bowl and then just have a better view of the whole rink. So
yeah, I was looking at some because like your one team's going to shoot on one side of the ice more than the other, and so I was looking the Reds will at the seats that are kind of like angled to the net, so you have like the net here in the middle, and there's always the 2 sections that are kind of angled so you can kind of see, but then like the view of the other side's just so bad, you just like can't see anything. It's like way over there, you're at like kind of an odd angle. So I was like, yeah, I'd rather just be higher up and be centered in the arena so I can kind of see everything. And it's kind of reminds me of
end to end
watching the broadcasts.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, I kind of prefer it.
No, yeah, that's awesome. No, I'm excited for you.
Maybe I'll buy a jersey or something. We'll see.
I'm excited for you. That'll be fun. Yeah, and then we come back home, Carolina and Vegas. Playing Vegas a lot in a quick time.
Yeah, we got a third one at the end of the month.
And then playing them again at the end of the month. So we're going to play like all of our games against Vegas like in 1 month. We're going to be real sick of them by the time the month's over.
Yeah, but
Carolina and Vegas will be good, yeah.
5 games before the next episode, it looks like. Playing kind of the rest of the division, and then we're playing the Hurricanes and Vegas.
Yeah.
Okay.
That'll should be a good one. Let's hope that we see the team continue to improve.
Yeah.
That's it
I'm pretty happy.
the show.
I think we'll beat everybody. Maybe we'll have some struggles with Winnipeg and Vegas again, but I think we'll win the other ones. That's my predictions for
Yeah,
these 2
I think
weeks.
we could take points. We could take points off St. Louis and Nashville. Well, I don't know if Tim likes that, but maybe the Nashville game will be an overtime win for Nashville. So Utah will get the point. Nashville will get their win. Huh. That'd be ideal, right?
Best case scenario.
Yeah, that's what I got with the Ducks. The Ducks won in overtime, and that was perfect for me. So
We'll see. I'm not gonna make any predictions. I don't think OT is gonna happen, but we'll see.
I just hope you see a close game, a good, exciting one. Yeah.
Yeah, I hope the Preds don't fold. But hey, at the same time, I won't be that mad because it's Utah that's winning.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was the club episode 3. Episode 3, I believe.
Yeah, episode 3. We did another one.
Let's go Utah Hockey Club. Soon to be Utah Yeti, I guess, probably.
Yeah, is it official?
No, but I'm betting on it. I would bet on it. Yeah.
Is that the one that people have chosen the most so far?
I think so. That's what I've heard. And it's slipped out a couple times. Like the general manager said Yeti at one point. And yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah.
Sounds like that's the one.
This was a fun one, I think.
Another crazy mascot in the NHL.
Yeah. I enjoyed this one. It was fun being a little bit more loose and just letting it fly.
Yeah, let us know.
Talked about a little bit of everything.
If you guys like this,
give us
a little
feedback.
Bit more than the last
we appreciate the
episodes.
feedback.
Yeah, hit us up in the YouTube comments. Send us a DM on Instagram.
Yeah, be serious. Just tell us like, oh, we like this, or oh, we don't like this as much. Like, let us know. We appreciate the feedback.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
That was episode 3.
I'm signing off. Yeah, I'm signing off. I'm Cooper.
And I'm Tim. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks.